I want to change gears now and move towards general business discussion, not about only Malani foams or mattresses and other things. Of course, I'm very tempted to talk about uh, you know Sania Mirza and other kind of things, but I think enough is being said about the association with your brand and how two big weights, Century Mattress and Sania Mirza, came together, and she's your ambassador for some years now, or at least I know for the last 1 or 2 years I've seen her. So I will not venture into that zone because that's public domain already. But I want to take a few minutes to ask you some questions on certain things about your personal life. When I say personal life, running even an institution or running even a tutorials or running even a pawn shop or a kirana shop itself is demanding. But when you are running an enterprise, maybe in the tune of some crores, which has turnovers and other things, how do you get to balance work life? How are you able to handle that? I'm sure your family, your children, your cousins, your friends, all of them also need your time as much as your employees need. So, what is your secret to manage work life?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's a very supportive family and a very supportive wife. Because just after we got married during the meltdown itself, and she has also seen that for 6 months after marriage how much I've struggled and how much it can be. Uh, Apart from that, yes, as I've already mentioned earlier, that in our family, a lot of importance is given to playing and all that. So another thing I can share you from my childhood, which has already uh, influenced me to a great deal, is that the focus even during studies was on efficiency. My father was very clear, even during my board exams, 10 p.m. it's lights out. Whether you pass, fail, get whichever grade, you have to be efficient enough to do your studies between 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. If you're having to stretch after 10 p.m., it's your problem. I think one of the ways to what I extrapolate to the work life also is the efficiency in managing the work and the business. It is not that if your business keeps growing X, you keep spending or you have a increased amount of time in the office in the same proportion. So one has to increase the management efficiency that way and make space for the family time. Without that, really, it's not worthwhile because yes, we are doing business not just for earning money, but for social obligation, but also for family well-being. And if we take out that pillar, it doesn't really work that way. So yeah, it's not that all days you're back home early, but on an average, we make sure that we are home by 6:30, 7 p.m. and have enough time with the family, with the kids as well, with my grandmother as well, and with my father is still very actively involved in the business, so all of us. And he also ensures that our work life is balanced that way, that we do not end up spending 10 p.m. in office. So I think we really have to work hard towards it. It's not that it's going to happen on its own.
No, I mean, great lessons there. Thank you very much for sharing because efficiency, as you rightly pointed out, is a priority. And as you said, you can't keep infinitely expanding your work hours just because your business is expanding. It's not a way to deal with it. But as you rightly said, it's your efficiency and these things like efficiency, integrity. These are values I will call which needs to be integrated very early into one's life. Like you gave an example that no matter what exam you are going to appear tomorrow, but 10 p.m. lights off means 10 p.m. lights off. I think there is a great lesson for today's parents. There is a great lesson for today's children, not just our children, but children and parents who are watching this or who are listening. You know, make it a habit to tell them the bigger purpose in life. The bigger purpose in life is about trying to achieve things in its place and in its time, not just trying to say, okay, today, tomorrow I have an IIT entrance, so I'll stay all night and tomorrow I go and give my best. And no, that's not the way it is. And same way, even for example, entertainment. I see people getting into binge watching. I mean, you watch 8 episodes, 12 episodes, 15 episodes. Today, we live in the era of Netflix and Amazon Prime and other streaming services. I don't have anything against them. My simple philosophy is keep it in its place. 1 hour, 1.5 hour you have allotted for entertainment, you enjoy your time, no doubt about it, but that should not define your life. As you said, efficiency becomes an important thing. I'm taking this because I want to deliver value to my viewers and people whoever comes and watches this, maybe tomorrow or after 2 years. They should take back the word efficiency from you, and there is a person on the screen who has lived by efficiency and who has also shown to the world that by being efficient you can be successful. It's not that, I'm just saying it for preaching and I don't practice it. So that's the way, and thank you so much for sharing. Now I want to ask you, with all this, with your business, with your family and everything, what does Siddharth do to unwind? You must have some secret to go back and kind of let loose yourself. So is there a place, a favorite time pass or something which you kind of enjoy?
Yeah, so there are a couple of time passes. So I enjoy doing photography. So that is a good stress buster. Sometimes even at home, pick up my camera and then do photography or do some brushing up of the older images and all that. Of course, ever since the COVID pandemic, not being able to travel that much, missing that part. But yeah, doing that at home. Apart from that, I love solving cryptic crosswords. That is again a good stress buster and something to keep the mind a bit alert and not get rusty. Sports also on and off. Enjoy playing a variety of sports. Not really pursued something, but yeah, some amount of sweat has to come out every day. That is the whole idea.
No, I think that's a capsule of advice there. You kind of keep your mind alert, keep your body active, and at the same time, try to do something which kind of nurtures your soul. Photography, maybe for him, somebody else may enjoy music, whatever it is, but try to give some time and enjoy. Thank you very much for sharing that. That's in fact a good thing. I have also known you share some of your insights at YI and even other forums. Whenever I read your interviews and articles and I interact with you, you have a heart which beats for societal responsibilities. You have shown that quite explicitly. You have always brought that out in our conversations. So I want to ask you two questions connected to that. One, ideally, what is your take on corporate social responsibility? Now, I'm not talking about your company or my company. I'm talking about in general, what is the thought on corporate social responsibility? And two is, what are you involved with when it comes to CSR?
So CSR in India has become mandatory for the last few years for a certain set of companies. I think that's a very positive thing in the sense that it is something like the direct benefit transfer what the government is doing now, transferring cash right directly to the beneficiary. CSR also is kind of that only. Instead of routing your tax money to the government and then government taking up and doing some social welfare initiatives in your region, to cut the long story short, they've made the companies do it. And I think when companies do it, things are more effective, also efficient, also better managed. So direct flow of funds is really going to help India in that manner. In fact, I am to that extent that the government can really think of cutting taxes even further and increasing CSR mandatory even more. That will also ultimately the government's objective is getting served. Even apart from that, it is very important that the companies understand their wider social obligation also. A business cannot be in isolation to its environment, whether it is a manufacturing company or a non-manufacturing also. So there will be enough and ample opportunities to do it, and there can be many ways in which the expression of CSR can be done. Someone can like investing in education, someone can like investing in something else. But the need is there in the country for infrastructure, for education, for many other things. And when the need is there, we cannot live in that isolation. Overall, a good value system and goodwill creation helps in the long run. How to explain that scientifically, it is impossible. How to explain that in other terms of spirituality, it is quite easy. A good karma always repays, and a good value system always repays. it will stand to benefit everyone in the long term. It need not really go into doing some mega projects or all that or being under the CSR Act or no. It can be something as simple as how you have helped your own employees in their times of need. Because ultimately they've given their entire work life to you. How you have helped them in their time of need. Not everyone will have enough savings or enough insurance to take care during the pandemic or during some unforeseen exigencies. Can be some simple things like that as well, which will make a world of difference.
No, that's fair. As you said, it's tough to explain the return on investment on all these acts in terms of Excel spreadsheets and formulas. But I mean, it's as simple as sowing a seed of a mango tree, right? You don't have to live all your life to enjoy all the mangoes which come out. Maybe generations after you will enjoy the mangoes, but the fact remains that you planted the tree or the seed and it became a tree over a period of time. So good karma, as you said, will always has its own way of coming back and paying back to you. Now, as a managing director, as an entrepreneur, as the head of the company, what are the one or two areas where you put your energy into in terms of societal responsibility? Where do you give your time and energy there?
I think personally, I am more focused on education related CSR activities, especially for the uh, education of girls in the rural areas.
Okay.
We work closely with the few schools near our plants where we try and invest some amount as well as some infrastructure upgradation and facilities and all that, and try and motivate that these children and the girls in the villages also come to school. Because what we have noticed is that talent is really abundant even in the rural areas and even in these societies where formal education is lacking. It is the opportunities and the motivation which has to be given. So motivating them, providing them scholarships, the infrastructure, as well as motivating their parents by giving them more sources of income so that they can also send. A lot of time it becomes that the income is the bottleneck or other infra is the bottleneck. So even if some of the people are working in the factory, the ladies, if they don't want to work, can be given at least a sewing machine or something or some small thing which will help them. Ultimately, it will help the children get out into education and go to higher levels of skill.
So supporting lives and then supporting livelihoods. Okay. So my last question for you, Siddharth. This is in a capacity where we actually met at the forum Young Indians, and I know that currently as a chair for entrepreneurship vertical at Hyderabad chapter, you have brought in a lot of initiatives. Not just this year, even in the years behind this, before this, I've seen you very proactive and bringing a lot of learning opportunities and exposure environments for people. But that's within the chapter, and I appreciate that as much as I appreciate all the work what you do at your company. But I want to ask you, as a young entrepreneur yourself, there are a lot of youth who are out in the country, and we've been hearing this for quite some time now, where we say that India has the demographic dividend, the youth power is going to make the country break into the world as a superpower and all that. As a youngster yourself, entrepreneur, a family man, a proud citizen, and a young Indian, what's your message? What is that you would like to tell to the youth of this country?
The message would be inspired by one of the works of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, which is to inculcate and keep an indomitable spirit. I think that is really the cornerstone on which you can build a philosophy and build a way of life which will take you forward as well as take the country forward. Without a proper indomitable spirit, if you always live with an inferiority complex or a secondary complex that yes, Europe the infrastructure is this way, US the environment is this way, I could have done this over there, I can do this over there, China is having this advantage. That's not going to lead you anywhere. That's not going to lead your business anywhere. That's not really going to lead the country anywhere. What spirit you can show in the present set of challenges, that is what is more important. and how to upgrade from there, and how to really compete globally, think globally, that is going to be very important. We cannot any longer live like a frog in a pond. This is not the entire world. You have to, even business wise, even as an organization like YI, think about global standards, global organizations, global benchmarks, where we are, what we are doing, and how we are.
No, I mean, very inspiring, very, very inspiring. In fact, as I was listening to you, even I felt that I think that's the fundamental root of self expression, your indomitable spirit, where you believe in yourself and you feel that you will do best with what you have rather than complaining and comparing and contrasting about what you don't have. Because that anybody can do. I mean, even a fourth standard boy will say, I have a very poor quality eraser, while my friend has a good quality branded stuff. But that's the different way of looking at life. But instead of saying what I don't have, look at what you already have. And as our Prime Minister very proudly keeps saying, Atmanirbhar, look at yourself and become self sufficient, sustainable, so that you can grow forward. So, Siddharth, thank you so much for sharing that pearl of wisdom, because it's very important. Because today I see a lot of children, a lot of youth, they have enormous potential. They can do a lot of things, but it is just that they need that nudge to go forward. I mean, I'm remembering this childhood game we used to play. I come from Bangalore. On the streets of Bangalore, we had these Bangalore metropolitan buses, the red bus. Now they're saying the colors, all kind of colors have come: blue, yellow, orange, all that. But the red bus, we used to play this. We used to stand at the bus stop and then we wait for the bus actually to start. And when passengers are all there and we are not going anywhere, we're just on the road, and we go and tap the bus and say go. And then the bus actually kind of, we time it. We time exactly when the bus moves and we go and tap it. And we take credit saying that dekha maine push kiya to bus aage gaya. So I kind of bring that metaphor or say analogy to our youth, where they all have that potential, that power which a bus has. They can go forward and power themselves and the country. But it is just that they need that small tap from behind. Maybe this video, this conversation will help them to get that nudge and to bring out that indomitable spirit that they have it in them. They just need to bring it out and take it forward. So thank you, Siddharth, for actually sharing this experience, your journey, your life with us. This 45 minutes definitely will make a deep impact on everyone who will watch this. And I'm sure people who are watching this and who will watch this will have a great, great insight about life and looking at the corporate world, the business world, and family. So we have covered a lot in this few minutes. And thanks once again for all of you for watching and spending this time with us.
Thanks a lot, Chandra. My pleasure being here with you. I think always the learning flow has been from you to me, and I've really enjoyed that. It's always good to interact with you on any level and platform.
Thank you so much. You never stop being humble and showing humility, but that's very kind of you. Thank you so much.